Mason jar with French press brewing bags for 15 hours, Pukin cold brew coffee maker for 15 minutes, and instant cold brew granules for 15 seconds. How do they compare? Let's find out. Now, cold brew coffee is typically made by taking coarsely ground coffee beans, adding them to room temperature water, and steeping for a good while, typically overnight. My favorite way of doing this is to take a mason jar. This is a 64-ounce mason jar, and to put my coffee grinds in these little French press brewing bags. Then I can just pull them straight out when I'm done brewing. To grind beans, I have this cheap little grinder here from Amazon. And in here, this holds about 65 grams of coffee beans. Just filling this to the max setting, and then a scientific 4 presses down. Usually does the trick. So 65 grams of coarsely ground coffee beans. I'm going to split that between these 2 French press brewing bags. And into the mason jar they go. Going to fill this up now with just some filtered tap water. And then this is going to steep overnight. It's the next day now, and this cold brew is looking pretty darn good. So it's time to make the other 2 cold brews. We'll do the 15-minute one next, and I'm using this device here from Pukin. This uses some sort of negative pressure to create cold brew in a much shorter amount of time. The manual's a little bit sketchy on the details, so let's just give this a try. Basically, we've got this main jug here. You put your water in here. You can add around 19 ounces, fluid ounces of water is the recommendation for this. Then you're going to add to this some ground coffee, sort of medium grind. It recommends between 40 to 45 grams of coffee. The main unit comes in 3 parts. This kind of head unit on the top here. This has a USB-C input. It does have a battery, so this is what you charge up to get started. Then there is this sort of middle section here, and then this is where the coffee goes, and there's a filter on the bottom and on the top here. So let's add the coffee in, put the filter on top, screw in the middle part, and attach the head unit. Going to immerse this into my brewing water. Hold down the middle button for 1.5 seconds. That will show you my battery percentage of 85, and then 15, that says how long this should brew for. By default, there is a 15, a 30, and a 45-minute setting. I was sold on a 15-minute cold brew, so that's what I'm going with. Press that button again, and the brewing magic starts. While that's buzzing away, it's time to work on my 15-second cold brew, instant cold brew. So I'm pretty skeptical, honestly, about this, but my wife bought this and she drinks it daily and says it's pretty good. So it's just, there we go, just instant coffee, and it just dissolves into the cold water. In terms of dosage, it recommends that you use 1 teaspoon for each 8 ounces. 1 teaspoon is about 5 milliliters. I've got 16 ounces of filtered water here, so let's put in 2 teaspoons and just give it a stir. All right, pencils down. That's 15 seconds. That's all you get. Back to this one. Just need to remove the little brewing bags that I added into this now. This guy's just finishing up now as well, so time to try these out. "15-hour, 15-minute, 15-second. These 2 look pretty similar in colour. This one is a bit of a muddier colour to the others. Okay, let's start with the 15-hour. This is my go-to cold brew. Yeah, it's got that pleasant aroma, and the taste is so good. This is why I really love cold brew, because you do get those flavors of coffee coming through, but really none of that sort of acidity and bitterness. It makes it incredibly easy drinking. But I do sometimes not have it ready. Some mornings I've run out, and it would be great if I could just brew up a batch that's just as good within 15 minutes. Wow. In terms of appearance, it does look the part. Okay, let's try the taste. Absolutely no acidity in this either, which really is quite impressive considering it's been brewing for 15 minutes. The flavour I think is not quite as bold, but honestly it's not a bad substitute at all. Wow, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed with that. Okay, now this one I'm going in with some reservations. I think it all dissolved, but you know, you're just putting powder into room temperature water, so I don't know if it's going to be a little bit gritty. For the aroma, now I noticed this when I was mixing it. This smells nothing like the other two at all. This has got kind of like a meaty or a yeasty smell. Okay, let's do it. Oh, that's like drinking Marmite, or Bovril or something like that. That is, look, people have different tastes, different preferences, but this does not taste like coffee in any shape or form to me. No doubt about it, in terms of preference, I do prefer the 15-hour, but the 15-minute is pretty close behind. A completely acceptable substitute. 15 seconds, not so much. But look, whichever cold brew you come up with, something you can do other than drinking it is to combine it with ice cream. It's delicious, and if you're interested in seeing how to do that, check out this video here.